Introduction. In 5 stars, The Communication Secrets to Get from Good to Great, best-selling author Carmine Gallo reveals why persuasive communication is the ultimate competitive advantage in the age of artificial intelligence. Gallo draws from neuroscience, storytelling theory, and real-world case studies to show that the ability to inspire, motivate, and influence others is what separates good professionals from great ones. This book is a must-read for leaders, entrepreneurs, and rising professionals who want to advance their ideas, stand out in a crowded market, and build lasting influence in their organizations. Let's dive in and explore the insights this book has to offer. Why great communicators are irreplaceable. In an age when machines can drive cars and answer our questions with stunning accuracy, there's one skill they can't replicate: human persuasion. Communication, especially emotional storytelling, is what separates humans from even the most sophisticated AI. When it comes to communication, AI struggles with nuance and novelty. For instance, when a student writes a creative and original essay, an AI grader is likely to miss their brilliance because the paper doesn't fit the norm. Computers can recognize average work, but only humans can break the mold. Economic trends reinforce this idea. Globalization and automation have displaced many traditional jobs, but they've also increased the value of skills that only humans possess: creativity, critical thinking, and communication. As economist Tyler Cowen puts it, average is over. Professionals need to move beyond simply being competent at their jobs and learn how to persuade, inspire, and advocate for great ideas. The numbers back this up. Multiple studies show that strong communication skills are now the most sought-after trait by employers and the biggest gap in the labor market. HR leaders report it's easier to find coders than people who can present well. Whether you're pitching an idea to a client, managing a team, or applying for your next job, your ability to speak, write, and inspire others is a must-have skill. Let's review. The human advantage over AI is emotional storytelling. Communication is now a core career skill in virtually every field. Professionals who communicate well stand out and rise faster. The power of emotional appeals. For more than 2,000 years, the 3 elements of Aristotle's timeless formula have defined the art of persuasion: ethos or credibility, pathos or emotion, and logos or logic. Today, neuroscience confirms what Aristotle taught. The most persuasive messages tap into pathos or the appeal to emotion first. While facts may inform, emotions inspire action. Gallo explains that storytelling is effective because it taps into how our brains evolve to process information. Emotionally charged stories release neurotransmitters like dopamine and oxytocin, making ideas memorable and messages motivating. We even see this in high-stakes environments, like within the Navy SEALs. SEAL instructors teach officers to brief their teams using clear, compelling communication. Leaders must explain not only the mission, but also why it matters and how each SEAL contributes to success. That shared purpose keeps the team motivated and connected, even in life-threatening conditions. In the business world, we see the same pattern. Entrepreneurs don't succeed just by building better products, but by telling better stories. Leaders like Airbnb's Brian Chesky built trust with narratives that created emotional resonance, not spreadsheets. Even the most analytical thinkers, like Google's Avinash Kaushik, recognize the power of emotion in persuasion. Kaushik trains Google managers to visualize data as stories, not charts. Without emotional context, numbers fall flat. Finally, Gallo explains that storytelling gives purpose to our work. When people feel emotionally connected to a mission, whether it's going to the moon or helping a sick patient, they perform better. Purpose drives performance, and purpose is communicated through story. Let's review. Aristotle's formula for persuasion, or ethos, logos, and pathos, still works. Emotional connection, or pathos, is the fastest way to persuade, and the most persuasive people turn data and strategy into a story people can connect with. Five-star communicators. Great communication isn't confined to the stage. It also shows up in the lab, the boardroom, the battlefield, and everywhere in between. Gallo explores 5 categories of exceptional communicators: scientists, entrepreneurs, professionals, leaders, and TED speakers. These are the individuals who have earned 5 stars by mastering the art of persuasion in their fields. Scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson bring technical topics to life by telling stories in plain human language. Tyson uses metaphors and pop culture references to make astrophysics relatable. He knows that scientific studies are only powerful if people care about them. Entrepreneurs win big by selling their vision, not just their product. For example, Michael Dubin, founder of Dollar Shave Club, launched his startup with a YouTube video that combined sharp writing and humor to mock overpriced competitors and speak to a young, frustrated audience. That video went viral, attracted millions of views, and helped the company grow to over $200 million in revenue, eventually selling to Unilever for $1 billion. Founders who master storytelling raise more capital, recruit better talent, and build stronger cultures. According to the world's top investors, the best founders are also the best communicators. Professionals in every field stand out by expressing ideas clearly and inspiring others to act. Gallo gives examples of business professionals who climb the ranks by leading with empathy, solving customer problems through personal experience, and shaping the narrative around new solutions. Leaders build movement with their words, whether it's Pope Francis calling for a revolution of tenderness, or PepsiCo's Indra Nooyi speaking candidly about personal struggles. Great leaders use metaphor and vivid imagery to unite their teams around a mission. Finally, TED stars like Sir Ken Robinson, Shonda Rhimes, and Dan Ariely follow a winning formula. They open strong, tell vivid personal stories, use simple visuals, and land their key message with emotional force. Their presentations are rooted in science, literally. Research shows that successful TED Talks trigger a biological response in the audience, including heightened attention and increased trust. Across all 5 categories, one truth remains consistent. Communication is the currency of leadership. The more skilled you are at shaping and sharing your ideas, the more influence you earn. Let's review. Scientists, founders, leaders, professionals, and TED speakers succeed by telling compelling stories about their topic or industry. 5-star communicators adapt their message to their audience and can inspire people to care. The 3-act storytelling structure. If you want to persuade, start thinking like a screenwriter. Gallo shows that the most compelling business presentations mirror the same structure behind blockbuster movies, the classic 3-act story. To showcase how this works, we'll use an example from Airbnb founder Brian Chesky's pitch to investors. Act 1 is the setup. Introduce the status quo and highlight a problem. Give your audience a reason to care. Chesky begins by painting a picture of an average American who is struggling to pay their rent, a relatable issue for many people. Act 2 is the conflict. This is where you build tension. Every great story needs obstacles and stakes. Here, Chesky shares how much he risked for Airbnb. He tells the story of the 20 investors who passed on their idea, and a cereal box side hustle he started just to keep the company afloat. These gritty details create emotional investment. When an audience sees how much you've risked and how close you came to failure, they hear your pitch and start rooting for your success. Act 3 is the resolution. This is where you present your solution and show how it changes everything. Here, Chesky explains that Airbnb not only offers lodging, but also creates experiences, connections, and economic opportunities. This 3-part structure activates the brain's storytelling circuits. Researchers have shown that when a story is told well, the brainwaves of the speaker and the listener sync up. This is a phenomenon called neural coupling. A well-told story is more than entertainment. It's a persuasive tool that literally taps into our brain chemistry. It builds trust, makes your ideas stick, and turns audiences into allies. Let's review. Persuasive stories follow a three-act structure: setup, conflict, and resolution. Tension makes your audience care, while resolution gives them hope. And great stories create trust and literal connections in our brains. Strategies to get from good to great. Once you've mastered storytelling, the next step is to sharpen your delivery. Gallo offers a toolkit of practical techniques to help you frame your messages clearly and creatively. 1. Start strong. You have 5 to 15 seconds to earn your audience's attention. Gallo calls this the snap judgment zone. You need a powerful opening that immediately answers the question, why should I care? 2. Define a clear through line. Great communicators boil complex ideas down into a simple sentence, sometimes called a log line or through line. Think of it like a movie pitch. For example, Airbnb's through line is book rooms with locals rather than hotels. 3. Simplicity wins. Many people fall into the trap of thinking complexity equals intelligence. The opposite is true. Whether you're writing a deck, crafting a pitch, or scripting a speech, aim for language that an 8th grader could understand. For instance, JFK's most iconic speech, with the line, "Ask not what your country can do for you," was written at a 5th grade reading level. 4. Use visual and verbal anchors. Slides should complement your story, not compete with it. Gallo urges storytellers to eliminate bullet points and instead use photos, bold typography, and simple data visuals. Similarly, metaphors and analogies can make abstract concepts easier to grasp. For example, Warren Buffett compared businesses to moats, and Steve Jobs called computers bicycles for the mind. 5. Work with your nerves. To deliver a great story, you need to work with any stage fright you might get when speaking publicly. To do this, Gallo recommends reappraisal, a neuroscience-backed technique that helps you reframe fear into excitement. Instead of thinking, "I'm nervous," you say, "I'm energized." This subtle shift can lower anxiety, regulate breathing, and give your delivery a calm confidence rather than panic. Finally, 6. Marry passion with purpose. The final and most important strategy is to believe in what you're saying. Whether it's a TED Talk, a boardroom pitch, or a one-on-one conversation, passion is contagious. Let's review. Open strong and define your why in 15 seconds or less. Use simple language, visual support, and memorable metaphors. And practice delivering your presentation with emotion and passion. What's next? Apply your learning with these 3 steps. 1. Summarize your next big idea into one clear, compelling sentence. This is your log line. 2. Edit a presentation using the 3-act approach. Add tension and stakes, and then use your product, service, or insight to resolve the conflict. And 3. With your team, discuss a time when someone inspired you to take action through a story. What made it so compelling?